I'm telling you honestly, I can ride a wheelbarrow to go to that mansion. I don't care. I'm telling you honestly, I can ride a wheelbarrow to go to that mansion. I don't care. I'm telling you honestly, I can ride a wheelbarrow to go to that mansion. I don't care. I'm telling you honestly, I can ride a wheelbarrow to go to that mansion. I don't care.
Good afternoon, good evening. Let's take this.
To Almighty God, in genuine respect and love for our country, endowed in a resilient and good people. Today, the Supreme Court of Liberia reaffirmed and upheld the rule of law in what has been termed a legislative impasse. As we have pledged, the ruling of the court will be our last bus stop, and the court has ruled, effectively recognizing that our leadership holds the constitutional mandate of the first branch of government, and we welcome that ruling. We are truly grateful to God, who has given us the strength over the past 6 months to endure the endurable and suffer the insufferable. To my colleagues who have stood up for the rule of law at great peril to their political and financial lives, my sincere salute. Societies become great when ordinary men and women rise up to do extraordinary things. Today you walk into history with the wind at your back and the thanks of a grateful nation. To the hundreds of thousands of Liberians here and around the world who on bended knees prayed with us, texted a word of encouragement, held us up lest we fall, and believed in us, we are truly grateful. Without you, this advancement in our democracy would not have been possible. We will always remember, we will always be proud, and we will always be your servants. To our colleagues on the other side, we identify with your just grievances and call on you to join us and end the stalemate at Capitol Hill. Come, let us reason together. In the words of President John F. Kennedy, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us not negotiate out of fear, but let us not fear to negotiate. I will reach out to Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla and Honorable Richard Kuhn so that we establish a joint reconciliation and transitional committee. I am not unmindful that reconciliation and progress may require that I make the ultimate sacrifice, and I am not unwilling to pay that price. But please let us show this nation how democracies are built. May the Almighty God bless the works of our hands and save the Republic. To Almighty God, in genuine respect and love for our country, endowed in a resilient and good people. Today, the Supreme Court of Liberia reaffirmed and upheld the rule of law in what has been termed a legislative impasse. As we have pledged, the ruling of the court will be our last bus stop, and the court has ruled, effectively recognizing that our leadership holds the constitutional mandate of the first branch of government, and we welcome that ruling. We are truly grateful to God, who has given us the strength over the past 6 months to endure the endurable and suffer the insufferable. To my colleagues who have stood up for the rule of law at great peril to their political and financial lives, my sincere salute. Societies become great when ordinary men and women rise up to do extraordinary things. Today you walk into history with the wind at your back and the thanks of a grateful nation. To the hundreds of thousands of Liberians here and around the world who on bended knees prayed with us, texted a word of encouragement, held us up lest we fall, and believed in us, we are truly grateful. Without you, this advancement in our democracy would not have been possible. We will always remember, we will always be proud, and we will always be your servants. To our colleagues on the other side, we identify with your just grievances and call on you to join us and end the stalemate at Capitol Hill. Come, let us reason together. In the words of President John F. Kennedy, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us not negotiate out of fear, but let us not fear to negotiate. I will reach out to Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla and Honorable Richard Kuhn so that we establish a joint reconciliation and transitional committee. I am not unmindful that reconciliation and progress will require that I make the ultimate sacrifice, and I am not unwilling to pay that price. But please let us show this nation how democracies are built. May the Almighty God bless the works of our hands and save the Republic.
Took on drugs. And even though it's not in every street, noise in people's ears now, but drugs still killing people, children. People are still dying from drugs. How is it national emergency?
All right.
How is it national emergency when the president make that declaration?
So fellow Liberians home and abroad, it's a privilege again for us to be on here. And we want to use this occasion to extend our thanks and appreciation to all of you who continue to remain very supportive to what we do here. We want to thank you so very kindly. Without your presence, without your support, we will not be here. We are here because you continue to give us the encouragement that we need. We are here because you continue to support us in your own little weak ways. And we are grateful for that. We are truly grateful. Again, we want to appeal to you to kindly do us a favor this morning, this evening, whatever the time is from your end. And that favor that we require from you is to please hit for us the share button. For those of you who are following us from, other parts of the world, we want to say you are highly welcome and we appreciate you. In a special way, I want to welcome and appreciate Bishop. Bishop, I want to say you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to recognize my own brother, Lawrence Innis. Thank you so much, my brother Lawrence Innis, for joining us. So all of you that are joining us, you can just give us a signal so that we can appreciate and welcome your presence. You might not necessarily be here to agree with us, but for the fact that you are here, I think is something that requires some level of recognition from our end. So if you are listening to us, if you are joining us from wherever, I want you to please do us a favor so that we can recognize you and pay you the due respect by just commenting or just sending something so we can see it and then, recognize you. But if at all you think that, it's not necessary, we still want to say thank you and we appreciate you. So we are supposed to be here with our panelists, but as you may be aware, today is a very tight day for most of our people. You get a wedding going on, this going on, that going on, different stuff going on. But they will be here anyways. But again, I want to say all of you are welcome. You can join us as we have a very nice discussion. In a special way, I want to say congratulations to the chaplain of the interim team of CDC-USA, Madam Josephine Campbell. And I just want to put something up here for you so that you see it. And let's put something up here for you. Just bear with me just a minute. I want to get some stuff here. So while I'm looking for this, let me play you this video. Let me stream this video for you while I am trying to get this.
And came out with it. It's supposed to be an act in every ministries. But now every ministry is supposed to incorporate into their budget drug tests. It's supposed to be incorporated into their national budget. If you look at the entire national budget, what is about drugs? How much is the fight of drugs taken? How have they increased the DEA forces, the DEA work plans against drugs? The present national budget. How is drugs a national emergency that call for massive urgency? How? How? What is in Ministry of Gender budget for drugs? What is in Ministry of Youth and Sport budget for drugs? What is sick? We heard some news. Some people were wishing us death. Some people were praying for us. Those are normal. But my personal is my personal life. I'm not in government. I don't expect government to send me money to treat myself. But those lieutenants who and myself who know my contribution, even though because of my past I have rejected to work in any government because I know government is a sacred place, sacred office and thing, and my moral history do not afford me that opportunity to work in government. But which one of the people today who received the appointment from Mr. Boakai fought equal to me? Let me put it that way, equal to me. This project monies were used to take care of my campaign. I printed my own t-shirts here, used my own vehicles here. I never wanted, let Mr. Tue or the party chairman or Mr. Luther tell me one time if I ever went for Unity Party supply. at any time. Just once, but I went to party headquarters to go ask for T-shirt, to go ask for anything. I did those things because
Okay, so we got so many things going on. I'm trying to bring some other stuff. I'm trying to arrange them because of the time. But again, I want to say all of you are welcome. All of you are highly welcome. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so very kindly. I want to welcome my own brother, Rising Sun. How are you, my brother? You are highly welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. As usual, we ask that you please hit for us the share button. We want to say hit for us the share button as we about to begin our discussion. I want to ask you a question, fellow Liberians, before we can begin this discussion. Do you think, as a nation, as a people, all is well in Liberia? I repeat, do you think, as a nation, as a people, is everything okay in Liberia? Is everything okay? I know the question will be all is now well, right? During the time of President Weah, all was not right. During the time of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, all was not right. During the time of Joseph Jenkins Rabos, all wasn't right. But there are some things that are very noticeable and that is troubling. They are noticeable and very troubling. And when these things are happening, it is good enough for you and I to voice it out. We've been given that opportunity to basically explain to our people what is happening, what is going on. That's a responsibility that we have. That's a duty that we have. Oh, I'm sorry. Some kind of thing here I have to respond to quick for my job. So just bear with me.
and even though it's not in every street, noise in people's ears now, but drugs still killing people, children. People are still dying from drugs. How is it national emergency? How is it national emergency when the president made that declarations and came out with it? It's supposed to be an act in every ministries. But now every ministry is supposed to incorporate into their budget drug tests. It's supposed to be incorporated into their national budget. If you look at the entire national budget, what is about drugs? How much is the fight of drugs? Take it. How have they increased the DEA forces, the DEA work plans against drugs? The present national budget. How is drugs a national emergency that call for massive urgency? How? How? What is in Ministry of Gender budget for drugs? What is in Ministry of Youth and Sport budget for drugs? What is in Ministry of Education budget for drugs? What? How is it national emergency to call for massive urgency from the population? How? How is it? It's so sad that I graduated in two phases. 120 young people that were here. Even though I was not here, I was ill and I was in Kenya. But before I left, my team wrote almost every government agency that are responsible for drugs and more. It's disappointing that no one showed up. In fact, the guest speaker that was invited,
I'm sorry, I guess some other stuff here going on. I don't know, I guess some other stuff that I have to respond to. But again, I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome Mary Doe. Thank you so much for joining us. Mary Doe, we do appreciate you. Abdullah Dukle, thank you so much. Abdullah Dukle, following us there from Barclay community. We want to say you are highly welcome. Thank you so very kindly. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. We are grateful to have all of you here. So again, as usual, we ask that you do us a favor, and that favor that we require of you is to hit for us the share button. We want to use this time to welcome, all right, he is here with us. We want to use this time to welcome our own brother, the Honorable Mayor himself, Boniface Kuli. How are you, sir?
Yeah, Prince, how you doing, brother? How you been?
Well, we are grateful. I have another opportunity to be here.
Sure.
Thank you so very kindly for joining us.
Yeah,
So, how is
thank
your
you.
end as far as the family is concerned?
Yeah, my man. God money us, yo.
I know, right?
Yeah, we thank God for life. We thank God for the transition. I mean, in a new environment, is it was not easy, but again, we know how to infiltrate. So we're able to manage our way, and we are comfortably seated. By the grace of God, we are here and just following the happening from back home with the everyday disturbance. But I
I know.
mean, thank God again to be on the show.
Sure, sure. And I'm also privileged, to be here with you. And I want to thank you. So, again, fellow Liberians, we urge you to please do us a favor, hit for us the share button as we have a very wonderful time in discussing what we are supposed to discuss. So, I know that there are several issues, that have been happening in Liberia. But I just want to give you an opportunity within the next 2 minutes for you to just outline maybe what are some of those issues of importance that you think are captured your attention within the course of the week. I know there'll be other issues that we'll talk about, but let's just listen to what you have on your plate that actually capture your attention, this week or whatever time that you think. Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the plate is so filled to the point that you don't even know which one of the meat to even take to eat. If you tackle this one, the ones appears very palatable than the previous ones. I said that to say that there are many unfolding back home. In fact, every day you wake up, there's just one news story. But among all of them, it is the Supreme Court ruling that have overshadowed all of the different happenings. The long-awaited ruling. Some of us were not surprised because I knew the ruling could have been ruled this way, and I knew exactly what the majority or the quote-unquote lawless or the renegades lawmaker could have done. We knew exactly what was their plan B. Interestingly, the same guys, the same folks who have criticized immediately after the ruling yesterday, the majority of guys, those renegades, came out with a press relief.
Hmm.
I know that they never recognized and they were not, and they will never accept the ruling. Surprisingly, today they have also filed a motion of how you call it, rehearing, or how you may even term it. So how can you be saying one thing in the day and in the night you're doing another thing? Is like the guy who ran to Jesus overnight because he felt he was a man of authority. He didn't want people to see him going to Jesus asking. So what he did, he went there Nicodemously.
Hmm.
So that is what the guys have done. In a day, he said, we not recognize the Supreme Court. Supreme Court doesn't have authority over us. We are law and gospel unto ourselves. Then overnight, you go to the same Supreme Court, you have not recognized a bill of reconsideration for re-hearing, or I don't know how you call it. So that is something that caught my attention today. It appears so funny. But the most interesting news was what I even posted in many of our different chat rooms and even on my page. And I said, if CDC as my party will not hide now, some of us will suspend our membership and have civil disobedience, because I think enough is enough. Desim Boakai here refused the same Supreme Court ruling when it came to the tending positions with the LTA and other folks. We sat down there supinely and we allowed him to have his way. So I think that have been so used to him, he like your little child do bar. Everybody said, Baba will be you, and you keep on working for you gain Kenny. So that got so sweet in his mouth and thinking that this one could have been the same thing to repeat what happened in the past. But today, when I saw the opposition community coming out in their number and giving reassurance to the people and the admiration of our partisans, trust me, today is one of the most joyful days for me. All right, that we need to put Boakai to check. We need to let him know that there were men before he became men, and there will always be men after men. All right, Liberia is not for one person. It's not a UP proprietorship. Liberia is for all Liberians. Nobody have monopoly over that country, over his friends. So I mean, today is a joyful day for me to see the opposition making that kind of strong statement. And I don't want it to just end as a statement, but I want us to pursue it. If Boakai refuses to acknowledge the ruling of the Supreme Court with a civil disobedience, or how you call it, a protest, or whatsoever that nomenclature will be, so that the world can know that Liberians are tired with the lawlessness. All right, because a year and a half ago, Joseph Boakai and his crew took onto oath and said they will uphold and protect the Constitution of Liberia. All right. So if you had those swearing in and make all those vows by our law, today we come back and decide to stop the law in your bike as the president, then it means we are running into trouble. So I think today was my own happy day, to be very frank. I will sleep sound today and wait to see what from now to Tuesday will bring. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have your plate. Basically, it's just that you just enter into the discussion. And I like the way you lay the premise. And I think we can start from there. And the first issue that I want us to look at is the Supreme Court ruling. What it means for us as a people, as a nation, where are we? And I think we can discuss that for the next maybe 5 minutes or so, since we are just two.
Yeah.
For me, there are several issues that I took from the Supreme Court ruling. The first thing that I want to say as an individual that is entitled to my view, I think the Supreme Court also contributed in bringing us to where we are as a people and as a nation. The reason for which I will want to say the Supreme Court is also a contributing factor to this entire noise is because when this entire rigmarole started, I want to welcome our own sister, Fita. Fita, how are you, Mama? You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. How you doing?
We are grateful.
How you doing? Welcome.
I'm okay. How you doing there? Always late.
No problem. We understand. So when this entire saga started, one group of people said, it is ludicrous for us to stay here and fight each other. Let us use the court. That has always been the place that people run to for redress. And they ran to the court. We saw that instead of the court looking at this issue because of the national and international implication that it has on us as a nation and as a people, we saw that the Supreme Court delayed and gave the situation a chance to grow roots. That is one of the places for me, I wasn't really happy because I expected, I know there are so many cases on the docket, sorry. The Supreme Court has so many issues. But again, when there are issues of national concern that has the propensity to plunge our nation into chaos, I think from all indication, The Supreme Court should be able to immediately pay keen attention to such, especially that it involves two branches of government. Two, because we saw how the executive branch was proceeding. We saw how the executive branch was proceeding, taking side with one group of people. And the Supreme Court delayed. Only for the Supreme Court to come up again with another ruling that somebody will say, especially for we the common people that are not lawyers, but we have sense, that we say it was ambiguous, it was too vague, it wasn't really clear with this ultra virus. And it took time. It took time. While that ruling was there, we saw people interpreting it the way they want to interpret it, to the extent that the Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia interpreted it the way he felt was okay, giving strength or giving root to those who are lawbreakers to continue their arrogance and calling themselves majority. The Honorable Fonati Koffa again had to run to the court and say, y'all please try to explain this to us. Even at that, there were still delays. Somebody say military delay is a dangerous risk. 1 minute of delay could cause a serious problem. And that space of time that we're giving, we saw what happened. All of what these guys were doing, they knew that they were not in the right, but they only wanted to get the money and be able to stabilize, or somebody would say, to stratify themselves. All that they were doing, they knew it wasn't right. But again, they were making use of the opportunity. So, well, let's get the money, let's do this, let's do that. The Supreme Court has not come up with a more clear definition or explanation, so to speak, even when in depth, to explain it to the Liberian people. And yet these guys are telling the Liberian people that I think the Supreme Court talking that nonsense. To the extent that even one of the lawmakers referred to an associate justice that I mean, a Lagos thing I mean on. I talking when talking at King Juto. We get time for him. I think it is scaring for our democracy, taking into consideration where we're from as a people, as a nation. To have one branch of government, not even, in fact, that was not even one branch, a few group of people, so to speak, begin to disrespect the court. It sent out a serious signal. We saw what happened when the ECOWAS delegation came to Liberia. When they had a meeting, they met with all sizes. And some of the things that was enshrined in that particular document that they sent, or their own recommendation, they said that President Boakai must be able to work with his predecessors closely in order to enhance the peace, the stability, and the development of Liberia. That all stakeholders must respect the impending ruling of the Supreme Court. It was in that document. They wrote it in the document. We have the document here. Respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. The people say, in other words, my people, the people working from ECOWAS, they say, please, when the Supreme Court finish talking, you please respect the Supreme Court ruling. Only for us to listen to the Supreme Court ruling, and then we have Mr. Boakai taken to a medium that is listening to widely, internationally and nationally, telling the Supreme Court that I know you're finished talking your own. You just go sit down there. For me, I will continue to work with the people that are already in power, the people that I've been working with, the people that are aid and obeyed to be disrespectful and disgruntled to the rule of law. I will work with them. And I get time for that thing you're talking. And on several occasions, Mr. Boakai has proven it. We saw this man suspending people from LTA. When they ran to the court said, oh, but my friend, what are you doing in that corral? He said, okay, I agree. I suspend them. We always see Mr. Boakai using an unorthodox channel to bypass the Supreme Court ruling. or the Supreme Court mandate. This is scary. It shows a dangerous sign for our democracy and for our peace. The high end peace that all of us work for. I want to go to our sister. I want to start from our sister and then I will come to you. My sister Fita, you've been observing what is going on. ECOWAS delegation came to Liberia there 3 different times. The last time they came, they say, we're breaking your respect the court when you finish talking. Anything they say, you're respecting. Today we have the president of the Republic of Liberia who took an oath to defend the constitution. Say, I will uphold and defend the constitution of the Republic of Liberia. So help me God. Amen. Go to a platform and telling the Liberian people, the Supreme Court on their own. I will still work with these, the Grunto people. My sister, for the next 3 minutes, let's hear from you, Mama. Or 2 minutes, let's hear from you.
Thank you, priest. Waka told us when he came. He make it clear to us. So it's not strange. We're supposed to know we're the Liberian. Before Waka would become president, he told us that when it calls him to dance with the devil, he will. And he is dancing with the devil. He enjoy himself dancing with the devil. Because he is saying he's a devil. So you ever see a bird and chicken live in the same house? They can't make it. Although they have fellow, but they can't fly together. Waka know what he doing. Before we thought Waka was sleeping, but Waka not sleeping. That woman is stubborn. And that's the kind of people that move with him. With them looking at Supreme Court and even ECHO telling you not to do that and they said they would do it. That's tell that they don't respect their own law. Liberia, we don't have no law in our country. It is so shameful, disgraceful to our country, that little country, to see others around us doing the best. Look at that boy in Burkina Faso, you boy. Abraham Traore, that boy put his foot down. When Boakai is passing around buying 59,000 middle data bulletproof car, when that little boy said, I'm using the old picker, that's the one we use until I'm leave the office. When are we going to listen? When are we going to listen to people? We can't even listen to our own wives and husbands. Neither our children. We just feel that, oh, I'm the mother or I'm the father, but these kids learn more than us. Let me tell you today, Prince. Their brains are very fresh, more than us. But I know what he's doing. And with all that, Fonati will stay over there, whether they like it or not. That's the law. If they don't want to buy to it, they let them leave. If they can respect Liberian people, law, the country, and the thing that is them, because they are in power, then they leave. Because Liberia is not happy with them, and we are not happy. Why can't people, they are already misbehaving in that country there? Misbehaving. How can a Supreme Court pass law that you say, they're on your own? You on your own. You and your criminal that you create, you put together, you bring in our country, that you're on your own. You think you will keep putting in your mouth? We'll sit here and let your stomach get filled before we'll say something? Will allow you people to bury us with greater alive? With this lot of useless greater that you bring in that country, nobody know where they are? These people are not ready to rule our country, Prince. We said it, and everybody's seeing it for themselves. These people can't rule that country. They only came there to steal. And that is stealing they're doing. With all that, we'll step in and we'll make sure that they will not do anything to our country there.
Let me ask you, let me come in. I'm sorry for intruding, but with all that is going on, especially the president disrespecting the highest court of the land, the court that all of us,
Mhm.
whether you big or you small, it is where we run for our own, somebody will say, judgment on earth, the Supreme Court. Are you afraid for Liberia? I mean, are you afraid for the peace, the security, as a mother, as somebody, a family member, who get family also there, you get your project or whatever going on? Tell us, how afraid are you with this particular president openly disrespecting the Supreme Court? How afraid of you for our peace? Let's hear from you, please.
We are on a threat. And that threat will on, if we are not careful, it will be very bad for us. Because it sounds like these people, they don't need help and they don't want people to help them. So we will go after them. That's how it sounded. They're stubborn. They think they know everything. We Liberians, we are on a threat. Let me tell you tonight. It will get very serious, bad, before Liberia will get to know that we are really sitting to the edge of the bridge. And if you're not careful, we will fall. And that's what Boakai bring it to us. I'm afraid. I got a lot of things going on in that country there. I'm not one of those big people that I invest in, but my little bit contribution towards my people in the country, I can even lose. So I'm afraid. If Boakai don't stop, it's time that we make him to stop. Liberia need to open their eyes now. And there is a time that everybody will come together and protect. Either Boakai step down or he bow to the rule of the law. I stop it right there.
Thank you so very kindly. I like the way you put it. It's either he step up to lead us, or my brother Boniface, I want to hear from you. You gave a very, very, synopsis of what is unfolding. Let's hear from you, sir.
Prince, I just want to make some few interjection quickly from the point you previously raised when you spoke and said you held the Supreme Court responsible for some of the actions. Partially, I want to agree, but again, in a totality, I want to put the blame to the feet of the presidency. Now, let's go back to the genesis of the whole story of the removal of Fonati Koffa. Fonati was invited by President Boakai to accompany him to Italy, Rome. Under courtesy and good governance, Fonati decided to go, which in my mind was a good thing, because let it not be that, oh, the man are opposition speaker, so he undermined my government. While he was there was a coup plot with the acquiescence of the president. The whole strategy was, while he was away, the deputy speaker who was part of the plot will preside, and on the agenda was to remove him in his absence, because there could already be a law that it is already a law that in the absence of the speaker, the deputy preside. So that was clear. So because of the few guys who saw that particular plot, they resisted section that day. That was the first beginning. Fonati already came back to Liberia, resumed his authority as the speaker. If Joseph Boakai, as the president, who invited this man with good faith and intention, came back and heard that there was a coup attempt against the speaker, if he so loved his government and wanted to live by peace, he could have called the lawmakers and say, hey, I carried this man on a mission. There's no way that people will not accuse me for wanting to undermine. But he remains silent. And there's that tendency that says that anything you fail to do for yourself, the court cannot do it for you. The Supreme Court rules.
I will interrupt you a little bit, just 1 second.
Go ahead.
Silent me consent.
So the court could not come in because there was no matter before the court. When the matter went to the court rules. Judiciary rulings are normally not for non-lawyers. And that is where lawyers will come in. That's why you don't represent yourself in court. So the ultra virus and the virus and all the kind of coronavirus and Ebola virus that was mentioned in that ruling, it should have been fair enough for the lawyers, more especially Fonati Koffa, who are representing or who is representing the majority, to have said the ruling of the court is this and this and this in a clear and verbatim manner. They all raised up and said the ruling was not clear. The ruling had no ambiguity because the ruling said anybody who acts without recognizing Article 33 and 49 is ultra viral. What the 33 and 49 says, it laid down ground rules, how to remove a speaker, how to elect a speaker. The ground rules are laid in the two articles. Were they followed? The answer is no. So it means the court was not crazy in her ruling. Okay, for the sake of experience, Fonati say, as a lawyer who knows my right, I filed a bill of information. Their bill of information was heard because the Supreme Court is a constitutional court. It does not entertain evidences. It only takes argument. The two different parties went before the Supreme Court and argued. And listen to one of the questions that was asked Fonati Koffa. If you say that Fonati was removed, who presided? He said the deputy speaker. If the deputy speaker presided, where were the speaker? He said he was saying that he office. The first thing there is a precedent and there is a law or rules that the sitting of the lower house must be in the regular chamber, not in the joint chamber. What took them for honor the speaker's gavel to go in the joint chamber? That alone is ultra virus. Now, to lay that thing down clearly, and I always say to people, I say, Joseph Boakai is the only man that have the authority beside God to resolve the matter. How does he resolve it? Even before the ruling yesterday, I said to someone, I said, if Boakai would just say to the police director through the justice ministry and say all immediate police duties and EPS duties that is assigned with the renegade speaker have been recalled. Let me see what Rachel Kun will start passing around and be becoming speaker. But because it is being premeditated and facilitated by the president, so the president will not act. Now, the worst thing was the same associate justice who went to the opening of the bar in Nimba, Nyamik Bese, who said the reason he was giving reason why the full bench did not attend the opening of the session of the legislatures in that court opening in Nimba, in Sanikule. Was it not the same lawmakers who went in their hearing and said it was a lekotor? Or that the same man you're pressing today? So you see, the guys are very confused. They will say one thing today and do another thing tomorrow. You say the man was lekotor. Today you are saying why the associate justice recuse himself from the judgment. No, but the law says the majority of the 5 members ruled. But that was not the first time. Let's look at Liberty Party versus Election Commission. You remember that case?
Yeah.
Cabinet Johnny abstained and had a dissenting opinion.
It was the Liberty Party, the Unity Party at the time, you know, the opposition at the time, basically.
Yeah. And forgetting, they're not remembering, they're not taking track because they keep acting like children. But like I said, Prince, look at the more interesting thing today. Yesterday, after the ruling, the quote-unquote majority said, we will not accept the result. In fact, the Supreme Court have no jurisdiction over us. Forgetting about Article 66 of our law that say all constitutional matters and every other judiciary matters that is ruled upon by the Supreme Court becomes law and gospel because they are the final arbiter of our law. You say we will not recognize it. As we speak tonight, the guys have submitted a petition to the same court that you just refused a few days ago to hear the same matter, because there's a law, there's a provision of the law that says when the Supreme Court rule, it takes 3 days for you to reply to the ruling for a rehearing of to concede. Oh, but you said then people now have jurisdiction over you. That the same people you're writing now that you want to go back again for. So why if they bring the same ruling, what will you say again? No, let me tell you one thing, Prince. The only way we can resolve this matter, say the guys keep saying Fonati have won the legal fight, but there's a component that called the political fight. The people, through Article 1 of our law that says the law and the authority is invested in us. We need to act, and that is the political actions. Because the people say that political, they get legal action, the Supreme Court rule, but the Supreme Court can't enforce it.
And this is where I'm sorry, this is where I want to come in, right? Because people are saying, like you rightly said, we have the legal way and we have the political way, especially when it comes to the house there. People always say the house is a political house. The house is a political house. Now, you are saying that right now, since other people are claiming that there is, a political will and let the political will be used, and you are saying that it's about time that the people speak. Don't you think that somebody will say, oh, well, you are inciting the public against, let's say, the people, since that house is indeed a political house that people have been saying? Don't you think it's insightful, your statement or your
Article 17 of our law says we have the right to assemble. Those are not favored by the government. The government is not assuring of favor. To say, oh, government, we want you to please favor us so that we can come to exercise our grievances by civil disobedience or protest, as you call it. The laws are clear. So some the guys are saying that the legal aspect have been won by Fonati, but they got a political aspect. So the people now need to take political actions because we elected them, so we can besiege that place and make sure that nobody go to work. And let me see whether all the bluffing they're doing, those things will go anywhere forward.
So before we go to our brother who have joined us, one would say you have not exerted all of the efforts. We have the Council of Churches, we have the Traditional Council, we have all of these different institutions, which traditionally we know whenever there are issues, the citizens will always call these people concerned or they will want to intervene. That you have not, absorbed all of this process and telling the people to come up. How do you see it? Don't you think that those processes must be absorbed before
The West people I would not even want to mention in this situation are those group of people you just named. The Traditional Council, the religious leaders, and all those kind of people you just mentioned. Because under the 6-year leadership of President Weah, you saw how vocal the Council of Churches used to be. They were coming up with statements almost on a daily or weekly basis. How many times have you seen a statement be released since this fight began? How many times have you seen the Traditional Council come out and say, we are the elders of the land? Hey, my children, your kind, let's send and let's find the best way to resolve the thing. How many times have you heard it? It becomes disappointment, in fact, to me. So I want to say, the Traditional Council, the Council of Churches, Council of Religious Leaders, all the kind of people in me, they are a part of this conflict. So people like that, they are conflicted already. Because some of them are serving as board members. For example, the president of the Council of Churches is a member of the Grand Basel Community College or so. He's a member of the board. That means conflicted already. Imam Clary is a board member of Freeport. Those are already conflicted. They already have a side. So they will not say anything. Don't expect them to say anything. So the best solution is political action must be taken in a political situation.
Wow.
We need political action in a political given situation like this one. The Supreme Court have ruled. The Supreme Court will not go to enforce a ruling because that is not her mandate. Her mandate is to rule and rule on constitutional matters, which she have done. So send the other guys on the other side saying, okay, that one you're told that the legal side, but we got political side because we got the number. But the citizenry are more than that number. The citizenry are more than that number. They are just like 41 group of people. Okay, so we'll put 10,000 persons outside. That the political decision, and see whether the 42 or 43 members that claiming that they have political power. Let's see what that will entail when it has to do with the coming up of the people. But man, the power the people get, it is the people's power. That's why we call them the people's deputy. We just borrow them some of our power, but that power is invested in us per our preamble of our constitution. We got it. We just getting small of it. So we are saying to them, we coming out to protect the power we gave you, because we don't want to go back in conflict, because we don't want to start running around. We want to maintain this peace, and to maintain this peace is to make sure to put you to check.
Thank you. Thank you so very kindly. Let's go to our brother who have joined us. Brother Clinton, again, we want to say you are welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Welcome, sir. All right, you have to unmute yourself. So the first issue here, I'm very sure maybe you are listening. You heard of the first issue. Basically, it has to do with what is going on, in Liberia. The Supreme Court gave its ruling relative to, what is happening. We saw that ECOWAS delegation they were in Liberia. They advised that once, the Supreme Court gave its ruling, it's a need for everybody should abide by the ruling. When they're on 3 different occasions, encouraging political actors to respect the rule of law and etc. Now that the ruling is out, somebody say it is not ambiguous like it was before. But like Brother Boniface said, it was very clear. Those of us who are not lawyers, maybe the jargon was a bit tough for us, but it was clear, and they have just reaffirmed it. Now that they have, put out their opinion in a very simple and clear tone, the other side is saying no. That thing you're doing, that your own setting, we ain't get time for it. We're not even listening to you. To even make matter worse, the men who encourage these people to be lawless took on the platform and say, as far as concerned, I'm working with plenty of people there in his view, and I'm working with you. What is your take on this? Let's hear from you, sir.
Well, let me say thank you, Mr. Sharif. And let me say good evening to the other panelists, our own sister, Fonati Koffa. Good afternoon to you. Not afternoon, but evening now. Good evening to you, madam. Yeah, you have been monitoring you. You are one of our strongest generals when it comes to, the social media and promoting the party ideologies and all of that. Let me commend you for that. And also to our big brother Boniface, I don't know if he left or what, because I'm not
Yeah,
seeing
he's coming back. He's here. Yeah.
Okay. Big brother Boniface,
Jim,
how are you?
my
Yeah.
man, you gotta calm down. I'll see you here, man.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that. Eric,
Yeah, I got space for you.
yeah. Okay, Chief. Thank you. And so yeah, let me say good evening to everyone. And Mr. Cherry, thank you so much for the work that you continue to do in propagating our ideologies and manifesto of our party, the CDC, and also speaking on critical national issues of concern, to all of us that is concerning our country and the governance of our country. So, Mr. Cherry, the Supreme Court ruling, like you said earlier, isn't ambiguous like the way it went first, the way it was first, Right now, we have a very crystal clear, ruling from the Supreme Court, in which, but that was the purpose of the bill of information in the first place that was filed by the Koffa's lawyer. So now that you have everything written very clearly, explained, so that the layman or man water, or as someone would say, in the market there can understand the ruling now. The Supreme Court is clear that Koffa is the speaker, and by all means, the executive is supposed to be working with the speaker, who is the legitimate speaker, and not the one who wants to impose himself through an illegal process in person of Richard Coons. But, Mr. Sherry, right now, the state of our country, we do not really expect much from the Boakai government, because from the onset of this government, they have already proven to be group of people that only come into power to maybe just violate all of our laws, because it started from day one. They are not a respecter of our laws, even though they were the loudest voices in the opposition, talking about rule of law. And don't mind that hypocrisy that they had, they said they included rule of law in their so-called arrest agenda, because they are not going to abide by anything, like what you are seeing going on in the country now. So Supreme Court has ruled. And for me, I was already very skeptical, that they would have even, with the kind of reckless governance style that Boakai and his people are exhibited in maybe almost, I don't know, a year or so of their ascendancy, and they have made the country so ungovernable in terms of respecting our laws and violating all of our laws and things. I didn't expect that the Boakai or the people who have accepted the Supreme Court rulings and say, yes, we abide by the Supreme Court ruling because they are the arbiter, of justice in our country, and they must be respected and all of that. From the onset of this fight, we all Liberians, we knew that the executive was proceeding wrongly by even giving immunity to what his name, Richard Kuhn, assigning a patrol vehicle, a police escort, and all of that to him. And so by doing that, it means that Boakai is an enabler, of the kind of lawlessness that is being exhibited by Richard Kuhn and his folks. So now Supreme Court has ruled, and for Boakai was not in the country when Supreme Court ruled. When he returned, he couldn't even speak to journalists at the airport on the Supreme Court's ruling when he was quiet, because usually when a president maybe goes out of the country and comes back, he has to address the media, and there are very important issues, maybe that happened in the country while you were away. The press will want to inquire from you, what you think about this, or what's your take on this, Mr. President? But they intentionally decided to, in fact, Fonati told journalists not to ask the president about that. And the reason why they did that is because they wanted him, like the press, press statement or what, or the reading he did, that was something that was crafted by what his name, Buju Ben Keita and the other guys in the office there, and intentionally telling him to go against the Supreme Court's ruling and not abide by the Supreme Court ruling. And that's why he's saying that he want to work with decorum. Decorum. He did not say, I will work with a quorum. He said, I will work. So he was intentional. He was very emphatic. The quorum that he's talking about is Richard Kuhn and his rebel leaders who are at RLJ. They are reassembled again. So Boakai has no intention of respecting the laws of our country. And this is very troubling, Mr. Sherry. This is very troubling. And the only alternative right now, like Big Brother Kudi said, Boniface Kudi said, is a popular people uprising against the government. Enough is enough. You have violated the laws, in so many instances. You went after seditions who were even civil servants. Some of them were even employed even before the CDC government came power. They were there, but because these people have the right to their political views and opinions, but you targeted them. You removed them from positions that are tenured. You went after civil servants. You removed them from their positions deliberately, and then went without even following whatever civil service processes and guidelines that is in place. You just removed people, and even when the court told you to maybe to reinstate this person because this person has a tendency, you refuse to do so. So right now, as I said earlier, thank God the opposition, the major opposition political party in the country, that is the Congress for Democratic Change, by extension, the coalition, and other opposition leaders, they are now coming to the table to discuss how best, they can be able to send a caveat, to Joseph Boakai to tell him that he's not the only, or Liberian, or maybe because I think he thinks that he's a king now, so he doesn't need to respect our laws. And I think he must be reminded that respecting the constitution of our country, or the laws, the rule of laws, abiding by the rule of laws, or respecting the Supreme Court or ruling is not by choice. He has no option but to abide by it. And I love it. I love the statement from the former Vice President, Madam Joe Howard Taylor today, along with other opposition leaders. When the CNC, the Citizen Movement for Change, the ANC, the Alternative National Congress, the MOVE, the Movement for Economic Empowerment, and that of the CDC came together, a conglomeration of these opposition political parties, to discuss what's the way forward for our country. We must make Boakai to understand that there are people still on the ground, they are Liberians, and they can still be able to mount the necessary pressure on him to respect and compel him to respect our laws in the country, Mr. Cherry. So that is what I have to say relative to that.
Thank you. Let's go to our sister Fita before we take at least 30 seconds and round up this. After her, I'm going to give my take. My sister Fita, with all this that is going on, we all saw how active women groups were under the regime of President Weah. We saw how the Liberia Council of Churches, they were very, very robust in issuing statements. We saw all of these different institutions, how they were all just, voraciously just, pounding and moving on the CDC government. But today, all of these people who yesterday they were criticizing, they were, using all kind of adjective on the government, today we are not hearing them. And our nation is gradually going downstream. Let's hear from you. Are you disappointed, or you think maybe, well, this is political thing and these people are elders? It has not come to the point where they should get involved. Let's hear from you.
You see, big brother Boniface yesterday said silent, and I want to correct it. I help you right there. Says silent means concern. These people, they're watching, they're listening, and they're seeing the action that going on. It's shocking a lot of Liberians. For Boakai to be an elder person, an old person that has so many years experience in the government, that work in the government, that's supposed to know the rule and law, but he doesn't know it. They were expecting him to do better than John Weah. John Weah is not a politician. John Weah had no idea about politician. He's a footballer. But being smart and being respectful and listening got him into politician. And all this year he was over the anything that people don't like. John Weah will come back to it and say, I'm sorry. But is the old man doing it? No. And these people that watching, that is quiet, they're not saying anything, something on their mind. More people are studying, they're thinking what they will bring back to the table. If you watch my show, I think 2 weeks ago, there's an old man in Arizona. Asked me, wanted to come on the show, you got mentioned for John Weah. That old man is almost in his 78. And he love for John Weah, for Liberian. These people are fed up with Boakai and his people behavior. I think they notice something is not right. So they have to figure out how they can fix it. There are all people in our country that couldn't get a pencil money. There are people that the judge retired them forcibly with no pay. There are other people that in the corner, they're working, but they can't get paid. There is a lot of things going on in our country, Prince. And with all that, I know like when we get answer to it. The old people, people are older than all that have, that way of bringing things together, almost like our show under the Paraba Hut. The people can sit down and talk, they discuss. But how can they bring this whole issue to the table? How can they fix this identical man who is destroying our country? Some of them, they are not well, they're not out there. They don't have the means. They don't know how to use phone like us. We need to educate them and help them walk them through, so they can be able to come out here and tell this man what is on their mind. How can we do that? By working together as Liberians. By putting our hands around one another. If not, Boakai will waste 6 good years over there without doing nothing, free of charge, and nothing we can do to him. You and I don't have nothing to do to Boakai. He will walk out of that place free of charge without doing nothing for Liberian citizen.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. I want to start on this, and I want to pick in from Honorable Boniface. When
Prince,
he cited, yes, sir.
sorry, just for.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
When I heard you saying, and I heard our sister saying that people say Boakai got 43 or 47-year experience, and this is my take. Boakai have 47 years experience with no success story. Walk Boakai through his 43 or 47 years records that people boast of. In fact, I want to be clear on record that some people already know Major Boakai, because don't forget he was a major in the PRC government. This brother, this old man, in fact, I call him Uncle Boakai because he's my uncle traditionally. Was serving as LPNC managing director. We saw how he ended. They see Uncle Boakai serve as some minister in the Doe government. He was dismissed. They see Boakai, Amon Sawyer, dismiss him. They see Boakai was vice president for 12 years. He got broke and left on loan. They see Boakai was the head of CPP in his tenure when the CPP collapsed. They see Boakai could not be supported by the former president who he served with as vice president for 12 years. That they experience would keep talking about. I want not gonna experience. I want people mentioning not gonna experience to me to tell me say Boniface you get experience, but tell me what you get. Tell me what have you done. It's like you telling me, oh, they may educate you, but they may have not had no impact. Sorry to say for interrupting in your time.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
And Mr. Cherry, yes.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cherry, I think before you come in, I heard you mention the religious council and other people. My brother, like I don't know who those guys already have their jobs, right? They have jobs. Someone working in the port there, another person. Those guys are on board. So do you expect them to make any independent decisions? Like you said, they are completed already. So what kind of decisions? What kind of maybe statements do you think they would rather make against the government as compared to what they used to do during our own time? I think, and another thing is that we have already passed all those stages about negotiation from ECOWAS, who never came in the country to talk. ECOWAS came here twice, or maybe thrice, because we have Edwin Snow there. He wanted for at least for us for his country to be recognized,
It's a
as
shame.
a country by the law, But it's a shame that the people came, those renegade lawmakers or rebel lawmakers, they started. In fact, they disrespected, the delegation that came at all. So all of these processes were exhausted, fully
And
exhausted.
had the Ghanaian speaker, he also came and he advanced them.
Exactly. And that's what makes the Supreme Court the final arbiter of justice. Now that whatever ruling the Supreme Court has come up with, the government should abide by it. And we expect that Boakai with a 42 years experience or so, quote unquote, should be able to know, how to proceed with this. And so that the country will not go into chaos. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the intake. Thank you so much. Fellow Liberians, I like it when our brothers say this is a political matter. So since it's a political matter, it means that you are giving the people the right to use their constitutional power, because the constitution is a political tool. You are telling them your use what is enshrined in the constitution to address this thing politically. And this is where I want to agree with people who are saying that it is about time that the people come out in their numbers. Because from what our brother is saying, James, from all indications, we have absorbed all of the means that you can ever think about. When this thing started from the beginning, we were on here yelling, calling, and asking for the intervention of these very people, the religious council, whatever. We were calling them to intervene. They did not intervene. Who we did not call, to the extent that people from OSA, imagine the Ghanaian speaker. Just imagine that. The Ghanaian speaker, a very close country that all of us will run to when there are issues, when there are things. The first place that we can, Liberia, man, in Ghana, almost like Ghana is our own, maybe, first safe haven, so to speak, especially with Liberia and their Ghana business. I'm not saying that there are no other African nations that we can go to, but when Liberia, man, they want to enjoy, Ghana they going. When you say Liberia, man, you want enjoy, you either going Ghana or you going Nigeria. Forget about the other area then. I know they are just close by near us. But for the Speaker of the Republic of Ghana to leave from Ghana and come to the people who gave you, remember, doing your inauguration program, Mr. Boakai. These were the people who even provided some level of, one would say, security for you. They brought in their convoys, you understand, and provided that opportunity. They brought in some other security gadgets to even help you. Ghana, that we're talking about, Ghana. The Ghana that you were using when you was an opposition leader, that used to go there for your meeting and etc. That the Ghana we're talking about. The Speaker of the Parliament of Ghana came to you and tell you there is a need for you to intervene in this matter and ensure that this matter is brought to a halt, because it is your government. Mr. Boakai did not listen. You see, one thing I know is that the stubborn flower will always lay in the grave with the cup. That's what I know. Because it's like Mr. Boakai has reached to the extent where he is unrepentant as far as his stubbornness is concerned. He is unrepentant. He has no remorse. Right now, it's like his conscience is sealed to do what he wants to do. He don't care about the Liberian people. And this is the reason why the Liberian people must stand up. For me, look, let me say it. I want to be very clear on this platform. I am not even impressed with the gathering I saw today till I can see actions. I'm not impressed. Because as far as I'm concerned, my own party, my own political party, the CDC, look, from all indication, the CDC should be what we call the head of all of the political parties in Liberia, so to speak. That should be the CDC. The CDC should be that particular institution or that particular political institution that will be able to represent or speak for all of the other institutions in Liberia. But unfortunately, our own CDC, it's like whether they are too complacent or maybe they are still enjoying their pay, that they don't want to talk. I don't know what is going on. But it's like as if the CDC as a political institution is losing her space. It's losing her space. We cannot proceed this way. Mr. Boakai is disrespecting every rule of law. And up to now, the CDC cannot come on strong to speak to the Unity Party. The CDC cannot come on strong. Everybody just saying that we all we just in chat room, and just the in chat room can be very, the in chat room we can blast the anger with Mr. Boakai. Go in our chat rooms. Go in our chat room and see how people can be writing the BB English, the BB verb they can be using, an adjective they can be using against Boakai. But these people do not have the tenacity, the balls to come up and challenge Mr. Boakai. It is sinful. You that just came from power, you that just came from power yesterday, you just came from power. You have the connections, you have people. That's to the extent we're crying. Boakai, who are one day, we were ruling party. Boakai now or down. He put a knee on our neck. We were ruling party. Boakai sees all the men, oh man, hold on. 80-year-old man, hold us, hold
We
CDC.
can't breathe. We
When
didn't
we say
breathe.
we say, hey, we are the masses, we can't get that. Oh man, we say we are young people, we are vibrant political party. Just say Numa Boakai, where he even gets strength to even walk from a bedroom to the bathroom square. People got to carry the old man hold you by your neck. You can't move. The old man hold you. Look, it is about time we say this to our leader, and we are coming to that particular place. Look, this nonsense must stop. Look, the CDC as a political institution must start playing fun with our loyalty. If you fail to take your place, we'll carry protest to your house. We'll organize protest against the leaders of CDC. Let's say this. Because there's stupidness and this nonsense, I'm sorry, but it's too much. It's too much. Boakai cannot continue to behave in this manner, then our leaders are sitting down. No, it is unfortunate. This nonsense must stop. It's just completely, look, sometimes I don't really get over it. All of our leaders have become chat room giants. I remember when the opposition Unity Party, they were in opposition. The people seized the international media. They seized the people. In fact, they formed their own show. We have some kind of show they call Cloud Reload. The people, all of them, their phone used to be active. What the fuck? Sanama Berigo. I beg you, I stop here. So, yeah.
And Prince, let me take it from there. You know, the show is getting interesting. If you check few of our chat room that some of all know we all share together. Some of those hardcore CDC chat room. I said a few days ago in some of those chat rooms, I said this will be a time. I said this is about time that some of us will withdraw ourselves from supporting political parties. And we just become independent and become free thinkers. Because we can't commit our loyalty to people who don't value and appreciate it. Nobody pay me for my loyalty.
No.
Nobody pay me for my loyalty. I took the race, or we took the race to support people who enjoyed our sweat and blood. So I posted in one of our chat room. I said, if President we can wake up now. But then somebody will come to my point and say, now time, the men are peace icon. Oh, you want to be peace icon, you want to be politician, you want to be pastor? Who are you? You need to define your role. Oh no, but to be very frank, you know how many millions of Liberians put their faith and trust in you? So people lost their job today because of your name job we are on them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us will come today, we say now in here that because the name job we are on us. That because people know how to be joy we are children. That the reason why some of us are here. We left our families back home. We have to flee to come and sit down here. That because people know or people mark us. We serve in different roles and different capacities for this CDC here. Because of that mark, we have to leave all those things and come sit down in here. If CDC will not hide, if our leaders will not hide to arm a voice of praise, trust me, it's better for me to be a free thinker and to be having my free conscience to express myself than to say I'm guided by a political doctrine that will not seek my interests. Please, I support you 100 and I support everyone that will call on the CDC today that, hey, enough is enough. We must rise up. Look at when the men were in opposition, we were running away from them. Then the men as ruling party, you can imagine what will happen. Listen, this is a test trial for 2029.
Mm-hmm.
The guys are testing to see our results. If we can continue now and resolve it now, 2029 we finish. I'll rest my case.
Yeah.
My
So,
brother James, let's hear from you on this.
Mr. Sherry, I understand the frustration. You in those chat rooms, what we can even do more than this in those chat rooms, going back and forth. The leaders of those of the party, they also have a responsibility. We have always said this on numerous occasions in those chat rooms. For us, maybe we might not come on Facebook, but once we have, let's say, direct access to them, we tell them these things. We put it in their faces. Some of them have issues with us, but we don't care because what the political institution that we all put our lives, our reputation on the line for, our character is the CDC. And because we love the CDC and then we support an individual who we based on our own conviction, President George Manawia, we support him. It means that whenever we have issues, we must be able to discuss them. And as a people. So I understand the frustration. Sometimes it gets you really, irritated, especially when you think that uh, at the time where people should be, or leaders of the party should be waking up, and let's say challenging the status quo. And sometimes you see that they are in that kind of laid back position, and feeling so reluctant. Yeah, so it's frustrating. So I understand that. But I'm gonna give it up to the former vice president. At least maybe it's because of some of the things we have been saying in those chat rooms. That they need to wake up. Maybe we may not expect. Maybe in the next time, maybe when they are having meetings with opposition political leaders, apparently we might see our own, a political leader in part of that meeting. Because from the way I see it, I'm going to give a recommendation to whatever, let's say, plan we have now as the opposition to be able to bring Boakai's government to feet to the fire. This is the first stage. Have meeting with all of the actors, the opposition political actors, and then bring them together first. Have the first meeting, discuss the way forward, then move to the next stage that has to do with our own opposition political leaders now. That when our Senate bearer or political leader comes in, the Senate bearer or political leader from the ANC comes in, Movie and the CMC, they come together on the table and then give their supporters the way forward. So that's what I think is best, and I think we will get there. We are definitely going to continue to mount the necessary pressure on our leaders in the party to be able to take up the matter of authority because, like you said, CDC is they're not even they should be the head or the leader of the opposition in Liberia. CDC is, and CDC have already tasted power. CDC has the experience to be that formidable opposition political party against the current ruling party who is proving to us, that they should actually be challenged by the people because they are violating our laws, and we cannot just sit back, reluctant. Our leaders can just sit back reluctantly and not do anything about it. So we will definitely get there to that point where we have to, challenge the status quo. Thank you, Mr.
Thank,
Sherry.
thank you so very kindly. I just want us to move to this next issue. The same people, is somebody will say this is an irony, but again, that's Liberia. They both say the politics. The same people who said the Supreme Court ruling is something they will not live by, is something they will not even hear. They don't want even hear it. The people saying nonsense. These same people again, from information that we have gathered, there's the Diaspora Allied, and we want to say kudos to the folks there from the Diaspora Allied, and we want to encourage our people to please, follow this particular very credible media institution in the diaspora, giving us information in the most simplest form, way, and manner you can ever think. The Diaspora Allied is reporting here that the Coon bloc is now running right back to the Supreme Court and filing in their own they want a re-argument of what was said or whatever the ruling was. And I just want to read a few paragraphs here and I want to ask you, what do you make of this? Is this like to you something that they are like kind of putting up a strong man fight, but inwardly they know that they are defeated? Or you think it's something that they just want to buy time? So I'm just going to read you here as we, get ready to have our take on it. The self-proclaimed majority bloc, under the leadership of Richard Nangbe Kun, has taken a bold step by filing a motion for re-argument at the Supreme Court in an attempt to reverse the court's previous ruling that demands their actions unconstitutional. The decision came after the bloc initially rejected the court opinion, questions its authority, and even went as far as threatening to impeach the justices. Bond County District Number 2 Representative James Collet also joined in the fray by threatening to introduce impeachment proceeding against the Supreme Court justices, arguing that the court had overstepped its boundaries and interfered in a political dispute. The Supreme Court had unequivocally declared that any actions taken by the majority bloc without the presence of Speaker J. Fonati Koffa were unconstitutional, labeling their actions as ultra-vile and a blatant disregard for the constitutional order. Despite their clear ruling, President Joseph Numa Boakai issued a statement of defense, insisting on continuing to work with the illegitimate quorum. This defiance was met with criticism from constitutional scholars who argued that the president's approach undermined the authority of the Supreme Court and raises concern about the executive branch's commitment to upholding the rule of law. The bloc petitioned for re-argument alleges significant error in law and facts, but their sudden change of stance have raised doubt about their credibility and dedication to representing the court's authority. As the Supreme Court's deliberate on the petition, the people of Liberia are left pondering and potential implications for the country's governance and stability. Will the court grant the request for re-argument, or will it uphold its initial judgment? The actions of Kun blocks and President Boakai defiance are placed to have profound and lasting consequences for Liberia's future. Fellow panelists, this is what is coming up from these people who say they want to impeach the justices, the people talking Lekoto, they know what they're saying, blah, blah, blah. These people are now running back to the Supreme Court. I want to start from our brother Boniface. What is your own take? How you see this?
You know,
After all of the threats and name calling. Let's hear from you, sir.
from the initial stage, when I came on, I told you that was information. And for the record, I serve as the Secretary General for the Diaspora Allied. So we have a very credible source from within. We know exactly what is happening. So when I was speaking from facts, because I know our chairperson, who happens to be on top of his game, in President of Europe Privates, I know exactly what he's capable of doing and the inside sources we have. But to the point, you see that these guys are very confused. If I call them group of confused guys, they are a group of confused boys who running like people running without direction, without focus. Sometimes they play on my imagination, and I don't want to use some words because we want to respect the dignity of the show and people who follow us because they rely on us for some of those informations.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was the same guys just 24 hours after the ruling that came out with a statement that they were never and ever. In fact, it was an interfering. I don't know what is their reasoning behind the word interfering into the governance of the different branches of government. The lawmakers' responsibility, their sole responsibility, there are three cardinal responsibilities, but their sole responsibility is lawmaking. The other two that have to do with lawmaking oversight It is just an additional function to the main idea of their existence, which is lawmaking. When they make the law, they don't interpret the law. The sole responsibility of the judiciary branch is to interpret the law. That's why people go to court. When somebody comes to your house, Nana, and beat you and take your land and say they land for me, the only place you have to go for redress is the court. So they interpret because they look at the various conditions, the different deeds, because these are normally portraying ownership. Then we have the executive on the other side that enforces the law. So if they will say that there's an interference with their functions, who told them that when you made a law, you can interpret the law? Group of confused people. You know, one old man was telling me, he said it was better that we lead a country, and I don't want to be tribalistic, and I don't want to be so sectionalist, to say it was better we lead a country like Liberia in the hands of the Congo people. Because when you check in that house, everybody that there, I can say they are our country brothers. Isn't that true? Yes. But look at how the guys are running the country recklessly. Because power have made them drunk. Listen to Honorable, I don't want to call him Honorable Sir, because it is not the position of making honorable. It is your conduct. So listen to Kole from Nimba, I mean from Bon County, who is talking about proposing a bill of impeachment against the judges who came out with their opinion by constitution. So who told him that he, as a lawmaker, his decisions in plenary cannot be held against him? Who told him that when a judge make a ruling, he can be impeached because of that? Who told him that? I don't know how you guys went to school, and he even claimed to be a law student. I challenge him that if you, as a certain lawmaker, your decisions and your suggestions in plenary cannot be held against you by law. Who told you when a judge ruled in the case, he can be impeached because of that? Who told him that? You know, these guys are power drunk, Prince. And we have reached to a point that the same liquor, quote unquote, that they accuse Judge Yami Gbese of drinking in the opening of the court in Nima. We need to tell them that we can drink more stronger gin than that. How do we do it? We need the people's action. Trust me, if the people will not stand up to this decision today, it will live with us forever in history. It will live with us forever in history because law is precedent. Somebody will wake up one day, group of arrogant guys will wake up one day and say, we want the speaker, we want the Senate pro tem. And they will use this case as a reference case that it happened before, it can happen now. So I want to say, Prince, to that reading and that publication, the story is truth. In fact, that bill or that particular petition was received by Associate Judge Johnson, who received it and signed on it because by law, it is insurance in the law that after 3 days in the ruling of the Supreme Court, if there's no objections, then it becomes amen. So that's why they try to make use of the law. But let me tell you before I close, it is just buying time. Though group of reputable people who have come up with this ruling will never want to sacrifice their integrity for a man called Rachel Kuhn, who is not even fit. But listen to the man talking, man. Look, let's be honest. Listen, with all due respect to Rachel Kuhn. Listen to Rachel Kuhn talking. He talked part of nonsense. I said to somebody, I said, they better have power that came to him on a silver platter. But the exercising of that power is where he lost it. You running behind Koffa, you running behind all the people around Koffa. How can you win a game? You running behind Koffa, then you running behind everybody that behind Koffa. So the guys then saw it, they say, hey, they think that Koffa they want. You know, when the war was coming, the person was coming for door. I listened to one old man say, they think that not only door they want, that the window, the ceiling tile, that they will carry. So if you are running behind Koffa, you have all the other guys in different committee areas. What brought it to your attention as a sound leader, administrator, that you could not lead that man in there? get Koffa out quietly and peacefully with the support of all those guys who supporting him. Then later he start moving them one by one. But because God will not allow it, like the former lawmaker of bombing, I call it bombing country said that God beating them so. That God beating them on. Because this is a sign, a clear manifestation of what the guy's intention is for 2029. So they're testing the water. If we can stand now that the water here should not be tested, and at the end of the day, it be quiet, then 2029 see all losing. So as they have tested the water, let muddy the water.
Thank you.
And that's what the former vice president said today. If Boakai want to govern, we're getting chance to govern. If you don't want to govern, then we're help him not to govern. Thank you.
Thank you so very kindly. Let's get to our sister Fita. My sister Fita, you are looking at what these people are putting out. Credible information. The same people who say, when I respect the court, that's also information we have gathered from the diaspora alike. The same people now, they run back to the court. They go to the court, they say, court, they ruling where you get. After they finish sorting, they ruling where you get. Come back, can't listen, can't let go over it again. What is your own take? What do you make of this?
Prince, my brothers, these people are running for a decision. Big one too, not even the smaller one, the biggest indecision. That's what they are running from. They don't know what they want. And when they look on the left, they see a drunk man who is always drunk. Then when they look on the right, then they see the Bible, somebody with, that Christian heart. So the devil and Jesus Christ are fighting. So when you look, the one that's supposed to be called Jesus, your God, turn to devil. And then the devil turned to Jesus. So you start judging yourself, say, but this person was the one that was holding the Bible. But how can he tell with a drunkard? That's what happened between Fonati Koffa and Richard Kuhn. Richard Kuhn is completely drunk. When Boakai said that all the representatives, let's say the lawmakers, they should, do, or how they call, tests. How they call, Yeke Kima said he also need a power test. All these lawmakers in Liberia, they need that test. They need to do that test because all of them are drunk, completely drunk. What they were thinking about when they were telling the person, no, this liquor, this is that, what they were thinking about? Or did they went back and put pepper and salt in the pot, eat their stomach full before they realized that what the law was making, what they were ruling into was making sense? Or they thought the Richard Kuhn that were following was a normal person? Richard Kuhn, he completely got crazy. The moment I told that man he was going to be paid $9 million, that man changed his house within a second. Am I lying?
Right. Sure. You're right.
That man faced everything God changed within a second. We Liberians, we don't know economy. The moment a little bit of money get in our hand, we're ready to lavish it. You are not yet being seated. The law have not even ruled the law in your favor. You already take over. You fly all over in Liberia. Like my brother just said. What if he just said? Those people that work with Fonati Koffa, they were the people that you were supposed to put under your arms. Embrace them. Encourage them. Make them to know that if you take power, you will be just the Fonati Koffa. Or you will be more than him. But no, he started hating them one by one. That man even came out and said he spoke some kind of terrible English and why he said he couldn't understand that he was not representing Liberians. He represented himself.
To regime speaker.
The message was the message of the speaker.
I'm coming to him, my brother. That he was a regime speaker. I don't know if he, when he's speaking, he can listen to himself, or all the degree he said he had, he will look in that dictionary and define them, or he just want to come out and put on bishop. You know, with the crew people, they say we can talk. But the book's supposed to be right now. I don't think that man gets sense over there. Fonati Koffa had a real education, and he is very soft, intelligent, minor person to deal with. But that Richard Kume, I don't know what part of Maryland country he coming from. They say he crew man, I don't think so. Because the girl in the crew, when our book is in here, we got it there. Something wrong somewhere with our Richard Kume. That power test, he needed. We need to give it to him.
Richard, a dull man.
Yeah.
I mean, a dull man.
That man need that power test. Along with the part, Joseph Boakai, they need to take that power test.
He do speaker election now, the man will lose it. That's why he's running away from.
Thank you.
But he already lost it. He already lost it, my brother. Nobody going to call that mayor or lawmaker or let's say speaker of the house. You're not supposed to be, telling people what to do. And you are the one that running mad like a dog. Leaving your house, somebody calling you and say, because you can parking, just parking. And you coming to pass, order. And then get in the car and leave to go back. Does it make, did that person make sense? Did he learn somebody that sound in the head? We say Yeke is crazy, but he's more crazy than Yeke. When you put that man and Yeke in a house and put fire there, Yeke will get out. That man will do that because he got no brains.
Thank you.
That power test, they need it. No people that are running for indecision. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing.
Wow. Don't know what they want. Don't know what they are doing. Thank you so much. Let's get to our brother James. My brother James, you know of the issue already. These people are now running back to the court. The court that they say they don't respect, the court that they say you don't have the right to put your more in this on it, that political sonny, they're running back to this court. What are you observing? What are you getting from this whole thing? Their re-argument that they are requesting for. Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, thank you again, Mr. Sheriff. So what I'm observing is that the guys are in disarray. They are in a state of perplexity right now because of the Supreme Court's ruling. If not only because of the kind of system we have in the country, that political patronage system that we have in the country, those guys wouldn't have been parading themselves around there, and only because of the money and all of that, the year in the budget, all of that. That's why they decided to force this entire thing about, parading Richard Kume as speaker and now, mind you, they have done some things in this place of these few months or so that they are afraid now that maybe when the legitimate speaker takes over and commission an audit, some of them might be implicated. Like, what's his name? James Collette. He said he's I don't know, they said they appointed him as chair on rule order administration. Melvin Cole's opposition. And then they suspended Melvin Cole. So the guys have been making those kind of decisions, just lawlessness, vandalism, hooliganism, in disregard to the rule of law. So what you name For the family said the last time that it's a Yemen basic, it is Judge Yemen basic who went Nima for that opening of the court and made a statement. So he said that the man had liquor talk, that liquor talk the men were talking. And then James Colette, who has a history. Can you remember from the onset of this entire fight, this speaker removal thing, I think the speaker was in Italy when the entire thing started. Do you know it was Jim Colette that was passing around and distributing the money to a federal colleague, you know, with that list in hand, and the person
Yeah.
who exposed him was Mr. Collins. I mean,
Yeah,
Honorable
I
Collins.
remember taking the 200 for a minute.
So the guy, Jim Colette is a criminal. He's a criminal. The man was deducting 200. They said, you have they may get a bundle of money in your hand. Okay, the other money here, let's say the other money for Honorable Collins, right? He said, okay, but you know, for my walking fee, I will take $2. So, and you see, it's funny though, Mr. Sherry. But these are the kind of people now that we have leading our country.
Taking 200 hour work.
You see, yeah, the man was deducting $2. The man deducted $2. You know,
Hey, you know how much that amounted to? A lot of money, brother.
yeah, the man deducted the $2 from all his man be. So Honorable Collins said the money what I get in my hands, so no. Honorable Collins I already deducted $2. So Colette, it is not surprising to me for Colette to be telling us that in fact he's going to impeach, he's going to put a bill on the floor to impeach or what they think the justices. And you know, impeachment proceeding, I think to be corrected, you know, I don't know if impeachment proceeding starts from the lower house before going to the upper house, or it starts from the, I don't know, it starts from the Senate. I don't know if that's the Senate.
Yeah, so it stops from the lower house. The lower house draft the bill of impeachment,
Okay.
submit it to the Senate, and the Senate will pass on it. In fact, the Senate becomes the grand jury because
Okay.
it is presided over by the Chief Justice. So
Oh,
they
okay.
become like the witness, or you call them the juries.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the Chief Justice presides, and they will come now as the senators to give their overview. Yeah.
Okay, so the guy is using that now as a leverage to intimidate justices, you know, which is again illegal, because you can't be threatening the justices only because they came up with a fair and impartial ruling of your actions. So what were these guys expecting when they were making statement on the radio that whatever the Supreme Court comes up with, you know, we are going to accept it? Even the vice president, Kun, he said that whatever ruling, I listened to an interview that
Timothy George in Philly.
conducted with him. The man said that whatever the ruling is, you have accepted it. So what were they really thinking? Or were they doing their background maneuvering and things? So they were so convinced that the Supreme Court would have ruled in their favor, in their lawlessness, with all of the public outcry and everything about their lawless behavior, their hooliganism. Even James Colette going as far as breaking into the speaker's office and removing his things and all of that, with all those recklessness and irresponsible behavior that they have done in the country. They expected that the Supreme Court, you know, as an honorable body, the final arbiter of justice in our country or in our land, would have ruled in their favor. So it's just ridiculous. So right now, what you see them doing right now, they are confused with all that thing. You see Richard Combs parading himself. He said he still gets escort and all of that. He's still speaker. That's just all a shame. Yeah, that's all a shame. And because of the things they have already done there, imagine the guys illegally withheld the salaries of their colleagues. And those salaries, according to the mathematics, I think they said it was, I don't know, accumulated up to, I don't know how many.
Around 8 million. Around $8 million. Yeah, in a 6-month period.
Mr. Sharif and other panelists on this show, I can bet you guys that identical money, those guys will not be able to account for it. So if you see all this fighting that they're doing right now, because they know very well that if the speaker meets the quorum and he presides, and they are thinking that he might commission an audit, and most of them will be implicated, if not all of them.
Made them to pay that
I
money
even
back.
saw a publication that one of the lawmakers who they said they made Ways Media and Finance chairman in a low house. I don't know if if actually it's coming from him, but I read it, and they said that he had distanced himself from the group, and he had breaking away. And the guys have even returned to, they are seeing Kennedy Resort. Well, is it Kennedy Resort? RLJ, right? Kennedy Resort in Vida. RLJ, okay. The guys have even returned to their RLJ to continue their womanizing. Because you know that they go to relax over there, and then they get girls in from D Calabar and things, they carry those girls in there to be socially misbehaving. Do you know?
I want to be one of them. Take the gym. I want to like brother bury my mom. Louis took me to the hotel where the guys were lunching, and I can see one of them, bringing a car. We said, "Who is that beautiful guy?" I said, "Louis, I got to cross the way to them." Louis said, "To my the guy."
Yes. So, Mr. Sherry, it is funny, but these are the immediately these guys are enjoying now, so they don't want for this identical fight to end. All the things that they're doing right now, like you stated earlier, it maybe it's just for them to buy time. So Richard Kuhn will continue to be parading himself as speaker, and then doing illegal things, and stealing from the Liberian people. You see?
Thank you.
So that identical issue that they carry on, and I know that the Supreme Court ain't going to reverse any decision because the Supreme Court did this hand down their ruling, and the next article, the bill information that was filed by Koffa's legal team, the Supreme Court came back again and made it they simplified the ruling, so everybody understands the ruling. So the one that they're talking about going to file, or I don't know what is it? I don't know what argument. What?
Yeah, it's a re-argument, a bill of
Oh,
re-argument.
okay. So that re-argument they're talking about that. Do you know that what he named Vanny Sherman right now, even his law firm is not really generating money, and he himself to need to get a share of that 8 million. So that's why you see he playing it on a strategy too. He said, let go and file for re-argument so that at least and my law send a proposed sanction on him. The law firm ain't really generating the kind of money that he generates. So Richard Kuhn, in his arrogance and ignorance, parading himself in that place as a speaker, Vanny Sherman will continue to advise them wrongly. So this identical refighting is just for Vanny Sherman to get his own legal fee. That's all, Mr. Sherry.
Wow.
But it ain't going anywhere.
Thank you so much. For me, with this issue of refiling, I think this just shows how desperate Mr. Boakai is. I'm not looking at these people. I'm looking at Mr. Boakai. This is just to tell the Liberian people that Boakai will stop at nothing when it comes to ensuring that his evil agenda and intention is fulfilled. Don't look at these people. In my own view, these people, they have nothing to do with that thing. Because it was Mr. Boakai who enabled them in the first place to even go to wherever they call majority or whatever. It was Mr. Boakai who, gave them the authority. Can you imagine a day after Mr. Boakai make a statement that he will continue to work with these illegal people before we go low today and agree? They file another case that they want to rehear. Now, this is just to tell you that, look, Boakai has no interest in the development of Liberia and in ensuring that the rule of law is respected. That Boakai, all I didn't see, that Boakai, that Boakai down there, you see, so that he the one doing all these things. Today, these people, they have jumped to RLJ. You think who's sponsoring them? It is Mr. Boakai that is sponsoring them. And it is unfortunate because this man who took an oath to defend the Constitution is today saying, I will not respect the Constitution. I will not respect the law. Because basically, that's the law. It is the Supreme Court that interprets the law. They are the only branch of the Liberian government that are responsible to interpret what the executive enforce, what the lawmaker, then they are there to make law. That's how our country is divided among the three people here. So nobody can say you will do your own work, then you want to do the other people work, and you try now, then you going far place. But this is what Boakai wants to do. He wants to do the work of the executive, do the work of the legislative branch of government or the legislators, and also do the work of the judiciary. So this is a sad time for our country. And you know, Mr. Boakai has placed the country on a path that is laughable by other nations. Imagine a Liberia that people spoke highly of. McCarthy, the former U.S. ambassador, he said the peace, the democracy of Liberia is something that is enviable, or that should be enviable by other African nations. Honor the president, President George Weah. You people condemn the man and say, oh, the men are dictator, the men are this. But all the time that I saw honor the regime of His Excellency President Dr. George Weah, one day he did not try to intervene in what was happening at the level of the House or even that of the court. He always stayed clear of these things. The man that you accuse and say, I ain't got no knowledge, but he was able to ensure that everybody settle on their own lane, or everybody walk on their own lane. It is a shame today that Boakai is running to the look. It is Boakai running to the same old code. This is just to tell you that this man has no mind to develop Liberia, because no leader that want to develop his country, that his mind is focused on development, you will want for anything to distract you. No, you will not want it. There is no president that you want to move forward, that you want to achieve. You will sit down, people, you just put yourself in all kind of things. No, you will not do it. Like, take for an example, when some of us were very young coming up, when your mom focus, you say, yeah, that Jew there, that Jew you going to, even your manager can become a manager here. When you, especially when you join, your John food, man, my man, you going, we coming here, that food, you will not even get time, because your mind is to that particular horse you go. You say, yeah, I'm going down there, I'm going to see my friend. You know, they my girlfriend are going. So the way your mind will be. So nobody who is serious, no leader who wants to develop his country will allow this kind of noise going on around him. Just to tell you that the man, he has no agenda for the development of Liberia. He has no agenda. Nobody will want to do it. Who, as a president, you are the head of state. Not only that you are the head of state, but you represent government, and you are seen as the embodiment of the law, so to speak. You are the embodiment of the law. When people see you, they see the law. When people see you, they must see protection. When people see you, they must see respect for Constitution. But you think we're surprised? Look at what Joseph Boakai did in the case of Madam Gloria Mususka. We saw Daniel Sando going to the court, to the jail to appeal to Gloria Mususka and say, sorry, we can't free you. And before we go low, this lady was free. Joseph Boakai took her where? Straight to Noka. Francis Sakila Nyimale, who is on tape, that is responsible for the life of Tamba Momo. He looked at Tamba Momo and murdered Tamba Momo in a broad daylight. Today, what happened? Joseph Boakai collected and said, oh man, go sit down to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Let's look at Queen Johnson. So with all of these instances, just to tell you that, look, Boakai, I don't know, but this man, he is looking for trouble. So at the end of the day, he can say, oh, the people may not be, and I develop the country here. Look at the arrest agenda. Which one of you can tell us that the arrest agenda has been respected or implemented, or is implementing it?
And they were brave to put rule of law in it too. Rule of law.
To the rule of law. And this
the
man
guys were brave to put rule of law in that mess.
And he has shown complete disrespect to the rule of law. You see, look, Liberia is on the time bomb, fellow Liberian. The only thing that can protect the common people is that thing they call the law. That's the only thing that can protect us. But from indications, from what we are seeing, Mr. Boakai doesn't care about the development of Liberia. He doesn't care whether the country go forward, or go backward, or go in front, or come behind. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is his ego. And it is unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate. We are in this for a long haul. And that's the reason why some of us are calling on the opposition bloc to stop taking down document with documenting and be practical in your approach. We have heard too many things. Be practical in your approach. Joseph Boakai on two different occasions. There was an assassination attempt on the life of President Weah, the former president, at the international airport. This man had taken People who are supposed to protect former leaders as enshrined in the Constitution. He have recalled all of the security detachment from the former president. He didn't stop there. His people are going as far as threatening, using threats against the former leader. But this man is sitting, and you say you expect something good from him? Don't hang your head. Do not hang your head. Just like Boakai can't give you anything good. Right now, this man, his desperation is to make sure that that country is unstable. You know, I said something yesterday, and I want to end the topic on this, so we'll move to our quick other one, and then we'll call this a day. There are few things that are happening that is pointing to a terrible sign. Within few months, Joseph Boakai was able to sign the Executive Order 141, giving Liberians the right to own gun in a country where we don't even have correct address system. In a country where it will take you almost 5 hours when you find 911 not even existing. So let's start it here. Let's not talk about 911. It is not working in our own country. In a country where you don't even have roads, where when it is 5 o'clock, police officer then they will take their clothes and put it their uniform and put it in the bed on their bed and they go home. When you go to police station, you can hardly see police officer. But Mr. Boakai is brave to say everybody can own gun in that Liberia there. Remember that Mr. Boakai's nephew is the chief of staff of the armed forces of Liberia. This was the man who went to Guinea and collected military hardware from these people. Military hardware. This is a man who just bought a motor car for $1.2 million. $1.2 million. 1.2. He just bought a car. This is a man that said, how you call him, EPS director said, as far as we are concerned, anything that stands in front of the way of Mr. Boakai when he's moving will fire. These are people who are threatening other people because they express themselves on radio. You see this man disrespecting the Supreme Court. These are all evidence of a dictator that is rising. These are all evidence of chaos and war. Before we experienced the 15 years of civil conflict, these were some of the trends that we saw. These were some of the things that we saw. People take unto themselves the power they could just do and abuse people anyhow. These were some of the things that we saw. And before we go look back, we're in war. This is what we are seeing. These steps are leading to political instability. And we think and we are surprised and we are calling on the United States Embassy near Monrovia. Yesterday, you were very vocal. Look at what is happening. You have not issued one statement, one word you even say. You just say that you're looking. Oh, so the embassy is no longer in Monrovia again? Where are our international partners that were signing paper around here? Why are they not talking today? What is going on? But fellow Liberians, you must remember that angels are not going to come from heaven to defend you. You got to defend yourself. We are not saying go and do anything unorthodox, but the Constitution gave you the right because all power is inherent in you. That you're the one employ these people, and you have the right to be able to recall them. From the way Boakai is proceeding, it is about time that the citizens stand up against the tyrannic regime. These people don't have respect for the gathering of people. People gather to express their own dissatisfaction with what is happening in a peaceful manner. They send police to fire people. They send police to kill people. On 3 different occasions, they beat students. I mean, great students. Let's lead the university people then. Our men, I mean, what are they? You know, they all part of what we do. But I mean, great student then from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, the children then come on the street to say they think, yeah, what happening? They are what teacher then go to classroom. They collected them, they beat them. They have threatened public school teachers. This is serious. These are all signs of crisis and of chaos. But I want us to go to this last issue, and then from there we can all maybe say what we have on our plates, and then we call it a day. I want to hear your overview from the Nimba County by-election, and I want to start with our sister Fita. My sister Fita, What is your own take about what happened in Nimba with the by-elections? Let's hear from you. We heard statements from the current vice president that was very troubling. We saw these people dishing out money. We saw the the Minister of Internal Affairs going to Nimba County, calling the chiefs, threatening them. We saw all kinds of things. Where Edith Gonglo, where some areas she could not even campaign. All of these things we saw it. What is your own take, my sister? Let's hear from you on the Nimba County ended by election. Sorry, you are muted.
That election in Nima County was it was clear. Everybody saw that. Jeremiah Kuhn won the election. I'm not happy. I'm not happy the way they treated Edith. But Liberia again. We really don't like people that love us. We always go after the bad one. Some of them, whatever I heard was they were not ready for a woman to be their leader. But how about you're allowed Eddie said it just to become president? What president? Not even senator. You people allow our beautiful sister, Joel Howard Taylor, vice president. What make you think either cannot be senator for Nima County? But that's tell us before even the campaign, Vice President came and said, I told Eden not to run. That's tell us already that they were going to cheat. And they sold the vote. That vote was sold with money. And that's who we are in our country, Liberia. Money speak. Wherever money is, there will be no faithful or fair action to be take place. And I'm so sad that we the women, we always trying to bring something to the table to help you out, but you don't want to hear us. You don't want to hear us out. You people feel like you people are right always because you're the man, you're the head of the house. Can you hear us out sometime and see what we can do? Shame on Jeremiah Kuhn. He's supposed to be vice president. Vice president, you are almost like president. You had no business running campaign with people. When he took it upon himself to say, Edith, I told you not to run. Go and sit down. That's tell already that he was taking side. He took side. And to the Nimarian, let me just tell you tonight, to me, it's to us here at 921. The same thing you did. Your bastard Joe, let's say former president John Manowia, and your top worker were going to be in your favor. It has come to the second term. You people are going to feel it. And you're going to hear it. Because you people keep on making a wrong decision. You feel that money is the answer to everything. Money cannot buy you a happiness. Money cannot put peace in your home. You can take that little change and eat it today, and within a second it will be gone. But the help that somebody will give to you, that can last forever. And you can forever remember that person. Prince, I'm not happy about that whole election. That Nima County election, I'm not. I feel so bad that we keep making wrong decisions. We keep running away with problem that we can't solve it. We can never sit and say we'll solve the problem here. Liberians don't let us suffer. They don't let us suffer. They let us enjoy. Wherever money is, enjoyment is, we Liberians will run there. We never want to suffer before we enjoy. Let me give you a parable about someone that came to America on rich settlement. If I tell you some people in the country, since we came, 21 years, they come in September, making up 21 years in the country here. Some of them have not even gone for citizenship yet. Why? No reason. And no answer to it. Because they are so dummy. They follow the enjoyment of America. And they think they were all already home. Some of them, the moment they heard the President Trump said, I will deport people back with green card, they start running to go for citizenship. When you set your budget for good 21 years, when they were giving a starter for $600, you didn't go. We're going up to $800 and now you're going. We don't got no sense. We Liberian. We are stranger in the people country, but you think that you own this place. You people are circulating in the whole area here, in the place here, flying from place to place, from angle to angle, party to party, and forget about your own home. If I tell you someone, they not even get one piece of land in that country to call, property, you won't believe it. But these idiots can spend $1,000 to $2,000 on girlfriend and boyfriend in America here. When they have families and children, breast children that they left in Liberia are over the suffering when girlfriend and boyfriend are enjoying their money in America. Mother that gave birth to you is suffering, begging people for salt and pepper. But you are buying brand new pair of sneakers for $400 to $500 because you want to look good for somebody's wife or somebody's husband. And then when time comes before you say, if I knew, it's late. And that's why Nima County did that stuff. It will come a time, if we knew, but it is too late.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get to our brother James. My brother James.
Yeah,
Let's
okay,
hear
Mr.
from
Cherry,
you.
let me just make my point because I need to leave now quickly.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much. For me, I think that the election results for Nima County, I think it's just a missed opportunity for Nima County. Why do I say so? It's a missed opportunity for Nima County or Nibayans to have a very adequate representation or a balanced representation at the level of the national legislature in terms of having at least a female, which they don't have there now, to at least be with the male that they have, there, because, most often females are sympathetic, right? So they tend to take care of their constituents. They might bring a different approach in terms of taking care of their constituents, like the same motherly role that they play, at home and all of that. We have some good lawmakers who are women, in the house there, or who were women before. We saw them. They are very much, qualified and competent. And look at a very potential woman like Edith Gonglo Ware. Edith Gonglo Ware had a history in the county fight during the regime of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. This lady was appointed as superintendent. You saw what she did in the county at that time. Construction of roads. She even made sure that the county had equipment, for road constructions and all of that. She invested in the county so much in what are the construction and modernization of public schools and all of that. She has a history in this county. But Nima County issue, I think it's just on the basis of some kind of, I don't know if it's traditional or tribal or so, I don't want to speak to that, but I will re-emphasize that electing Edith Gongo Ware as the senator of Nima County at this time is a missed opportunity for Nima County. Even the former, maybe the late senator would have wanted that, for a county, because if he was someone who can, maybe he with all of the way, the attitude that he had, but he was someone who actually loved Nima County. He wanted a balance also, in the at the level of the legislature, at least a woman, being there to compute in terms of ideas, performing ideas for the development and format of the county, among the other men that you have there. And another thing is that the opposition too, because some support was given to her, maybe from the angle of our party or so, but I don't think that she actually got the support that she needed. If she had gotten the support that she needed, adequate support, I think she could have won it. And also coupled with the discrepancies that we all know usually happens in Nima County elections. There are a lot of discrepancies. Even the poll watcher will tell you that. The 2023 election, how did we lose that election? It actually came from Nima County. So all of these things are litmus tests to 2029. The big brother Boniface said during his intro, these people are testing our resolve. And if you do not show them that 2029, if you don't start to put a stop to it now, 2029, they're going to carry it. Because Kun, in his desperation to be president of Liberia, 2029 will do everything possible. They will even do worse than what they did in 2023, during the 2023 election with President. We are in Boakai. The discrepancy, the election, the violations, the fraud that went on in Nima County where ballot boxes were stolen. Look, Nima County is one of the most difficult counties to actually, for our political party or so to win an election in, without any kind of maybe a strong poll watching system and all of that, and put into place real political campaign strategy.
Sure.
So we need to start to plan now. Now that Ide Gonglo Ware I lost the election, we heard some complaints from her poll watchers and all of that there were some issues of discrepancy, with even some of her supporters or poll watchers being put out of the polling centers and all of that. And all of this happened because she never really had that kind of backing. The power that be, Joseph Boakai or Kun were muzzling her. Kun were muzzling her financially. They had the money. They have all of the resources. So that election, I'm not satisfied with the outcome of that election, but I also think that it is Nimbadians that will actually feed it, because this Koga man that is coming has been in that house for, I don't know, 3 or 4 terms as a lawmaker. What has he done? If not only because of tribal issue or I don't know what, sectional issue that they have in Nima County, Koga shouldn't have been elected senator over or what's her name, over Ide Gonglo Ware. No, man, come to think of it, this man has been in that house for 3, I don't know, like 2 or 3 terms or so he has been there for. And then after you elect him now, you coming to go to by-election again, that state resources will be wasting there.
Sure.
So I am not ready,
Thank you.
I am not, sorry. Hello? Hello? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mr.
Thank
Sherry.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So thank you.
Thank you so
thank to the
much.
panelists. I think I have to go, Mr. Sherry. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure. No
yeah.
problem. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
brother.
rounding up. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's go to Boniface. Let's hear from you, sir. Your own view on the NIMBA
So
election.
the first thing somebody got
I'm sorry?
yeah, you getting me?
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself on the background.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the first thing is I'm not going to blame Jeremiah, and I say that to say because if I was the vice president as Jeremiah in the ruling party, I would support a candidate of my choice. I'm not going to sit back and say because I'm the vice president for the Republic of Liberia, I'll remain neutral because Jeremiah knows that in the Liberian politics, his popularity is tied around that country. So the election was to show the college show of strength. So he needed to prove that. Other than that, we have a strong turnout people run with the actual unity partisans who don't see him as one of them, but see him as a formidable candidate. So Jeremiah, in my mind, just did his work because he's in history and wanted to be that president of the Republic of Europe. But the honest thing is, the opposition did not do well to the election because the support to Gongo came very late. The damage was already caused. You have supported three parties, three candidates, and so your supporters, you can vote for any of the three. So in the life, you have vote for Gongo, where vote for Yellow or the CMT candidate. Having said that, Nimba County elections are also very tribalistic. It is like my county local where I live. The people don't take the election on what you do. They take the election based on the tribal affiliation. So no matter who the CDC who are supported in Nimba, in my honest opinion, maybe, but generally from my understanding, who are still lost. And that's why the CDC play the game the way they play. So we decided to appeal the mind of our three different supporters who supported us in the previous election and say, we support you, we support you, we support you. On the overall, Nimba can't make their decision, they make their choice. Although that person will represent Nimba, but by extension, Liberia. And that is how the election came up the way it came up. So for me, personally, I'm not very disappointed because I knew it, that whoever the vice president was supposed to in this election, they could have done everything humanly, okay way, financial way to have won the election because it was political picture start down to the office of the vice president. So tell them my family did not put up our emblem. All the opposition didn't do well, but now the only opposition political party, we decided to support it. We decided to support a particular candidate. We supported independent candidates, but not a candidate. So I'm not feeling very bad, honestly, because the people never made the decision. But to conclude with, as we are concluding,
Mhm.
I want to say thank you to the people of Nima who voted their choice. But with every choice, there is a consequence. So they will have to live with it for the next few years to come. That's all they have to do with it. So if they have made a good choice, they will live with the result.
Hmm.
If their choices they made were not for the best interest of the people of Nima, then I wish they were to live with it again. Or me, I can live with Nima. If they have made it well, thank you that I mean we had a safe and violence free on the overall. But if that decision they made will be at their detriment, they have to live with it. That's what I have
Th-
to say. Thank
Thank you.
you.
To just give my closing on this, for me, there's so many things I saw in the election. I'm just going to take two. The first thing that I saw in this Nimba election is the willingness, the energy of this government to do everything illegally to ensure that they cleave onto power. I repeat, we saw the ruling party, the Unity Party, Joseph Newman Boakai, doing everything in the open to send a signal to the Liberian people that they will do everything to ensure that they steal election in Liberia. Just within the space of just few days in Nimba, we saw these people disrespecting the code of conduct in a broad daylight in everybody's faces. We saw these people using what we call financial intimidation in in Nimba. We saw these people using even the internal affairs minister to threaten chiefs that if you can't give us this election, don't expect us to have any dealing with you. What is scary is these people disrespecting the law in front of us in a broad daylight. They think that they complained yesterday of, to the extent that we saw the vice president sharing money around the place. Sharing money. This man giving money to people around the place in a broad daylight. What we saw in Nimba, the vice president issuing tribalistic words that has the propensity to devour our country and derail the peace. Because, like Abonife said, this is not only about Nimba County, it's about Liberia. It's about Liberia. It tells us about how desperate these people are, using the tribal rhetorics to get vote. That's what we're doing. And again, I'm surprised that our international partners, with this kind of broad daylight violation, tribal threats, telling people, yeah, let here for Gio people, Nimba people, y'all go sit down. To the extent that the vice president left Monrovia and was in Nimba. Sorry, I don't know what was it. Yes, sorry, was in Nimba. This is to tell you how desperate these people are. And for me, what I expected was at least a force or a show of force from the opposition. But unfortunately, all of these people that were in the opposition, or the opposition people, they were left vulnerable. It's almost like everybody know that your father is the richest person on earth, or you belong to a family of rich people. But then unfortunately, you are left alone and you are on the street begging for crumbs. In my view, I might be wrong, but that's how I saw it. That the opposition that should have united and say, look, you know what happened? Can let's sit down on the table. Let us sit down here. Who can we put our vote behind? Who can we support? For me, I saw this as a litmus test for the opposition unity. And unfortunately, I didn't see it. I did not see it. I didn't see the CDC engaging, right? I didn't see the CDC engaging. They say, okay, well, I didn't even hear a gossip about it. They say, okay, the CDC wants to support somebody, but they try to reach across, maybe to reach across to the ALP. Say, look, ALPU, can you give us the necessary support? Maybe try to reach out to the MPP, for example, say, MPP, look, can you give us the support? Can we have a consensus candidate? We did not hear that. We did not, I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, I did not hear that from the CDC making an attempt. Because we saw these things doing our own government with Darius DeLong. These people were able to put aside their everything because they wanted to ensure that the government failed. They put aside everything and they supported somebody who is not even qualified, complete 12th grade student. Don't even forget about the 12th grade, that leave it. But somebody who is a pathological liar. Somebody who has always been a crook. This man he falsified a document and put a University of Liberia that he graduated from the University of Liberia. But these people in their evil act, they unite and support Darius DeLong. And on 2 different occasions, Darius DeLong gave a dirty slap in our ear. He beat us flat to the ground. But here is it. The opposition could not unite. They could not even think about uniting. You know, it reminds me of what we saw, I think it was 1995. Yeah, I think 1995. The All Liberian Conference. The All Liberian Conference. I think so, yeah, 1995. The All Liberian Conference. Who could go for the, how you call the thing, the election.
That was 1995.
Yeah, 1995. When all of these opposition party is it running against Taylor, they go sit down there to, how you call the place. Oh, they play a man.
Our brought to water sing.
Thank you very much. What happened was, Taylor look at a man for law and said, I come here, I will teach them lesson. And he dropped money there. I was a son down there. I was there. Look, that place there were able to get money from to do some late thing that we did in Liberia at the time, some of us as young people. The thing is, the opposition at the time, these guys, they could not hold, divide and rule. Before you go low, there was a complete confusion amongst them. Complete confusion. Talk about now, Tipotel and others, Clayton. At the end of the day, Taylor was able to use the money. He was able to use whatever influence, and he picked the weakest candidate, so to speak. The weakest man that you know that anyone can go nowhere.
Yeah, they push Ellie off and brought Clifford.
Sure. Yeah. They put the weakest candidate.
And he brought Akko on his side,
Yeah.
headed by this guy, David Koti.
Yeah, David Koti. You see? So those strong people, he puts them aside. And at the end of the day, he was able to cleverly manipulate his way. So there were no force to reckon with, so to speak. Or no force. Because the same people who should have put out the fight and say, look, because Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she was the strongest voice at the time. But at the same people they use, they say, the fire the old man, they kick off. He say, no way, he can't go on, they collaborate. No way, it didn't work. My fear is, with the way these people don't even have regard for the Liberian people money, and we saw them using it in Nimba. My people, if the opposition is not careful, Joseph Newman Boakai don't care of spending whatever money. In Liberia, one thing I know, I stand to be corrected. But sometimes when money is in, people's mind can change. Remember, this is not 2005, where people were resolved and they wanted a government to represent them. This is not 2011. It's not 2011, where Ome was around. We will be talking about 2029, where we will not even have companies to give a job, where people will be hungry. I want to say to the opposition, especially my own party, you better wake up. 2029 is not going to be 2025, 2005, or 2011, or 2017. No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be. There are so many things that have happened in this few time. We have seen how people can be induced when you give them money, how their tongue can change. Because no job. No job in the country. We have to wake up. If we do not wake up, do not be surprised. We have a voting population that do not vote by issue. We saw it in Nimba now. Somebody was talking about country Delaware, how you call, with no respect. I'm a traditionalist and I respect my tradition. Let me say this. I respect my tradition and I will never disrespect my tradition. But one another person was talking about jumping what body, talking about, when the devil comes out, this, that, other thing, when the country marks come outside, I always let you say, I don't like to disrespect. But anyway, when the country marks come outside, the other person will not stand, women can stand, blah, blah, blah. They were not talking on issues. They were not talking on building the county. They were talking on who will sing in front of the country marks, who will be able to do the one, why women supposed to come, women not supposed to come there. And we saw intimidation from the government. Intimidation. That's what we saw. This is a sign for the opposition to wake up. It's a sign. But again, this is just to tell you when people are desperate. One thing I will say about them, they put in their all. They did not sit at the back. We saw almost all of the ministers going to Jeremiah Kuhn's house, pledging their support and saying that we come here to support you. They put their all into it. Unlike us, who when it is time to make a serious political decision, we can see our people there around. They can't even talk. Some of them said they didn't get Facebook posts again. They didn't get Facebook posts. When they were in government, they used to post when they go see their, their friend, they will post on. You see them, oh yeah, they drink it, they enjoying themselves. Now is the time that you should use your Facebook posts or your Facebook page to expose this government. Because some of you who work in the government, you have friends in higher places. There are people who follow you. It's not like some of we're not government official, even though we get almost about 85,000 persons following us on Facebook, but we have no kind of really close proximity to any kind of international strong figure. Maybe they can watch us. Unlike some of you who are government officials that have friends in other countries, other lawmakers and other things listening to you. When you post on your Facebook, people will run there and they will listen. These people, when they were in opposition, they make use of every platform. How, in fact, the CDC government doing this, they're doing that. All of them were talk show hosts. All of them, even though they were not trained journalists, but all of them were talk show hosts. Where are our people? And we have some of the strongest brains. We have some people who can actually articulate the issues. Where are they? Where are they today? My people, we must wake up. Because what I saw, these boys are determined. Oh, yes, they are determined. They unleashed their full strength in Nimba County. We saw it there. Money was there. Intimidation power, forget it. For us, all we can say is what we've said. And because we are in this opposition, we'll continue to make noise. There are some things we'll not say on Facebook, we'll go in the chat room to go say. But when it becomes like redundant, when you're saying one thing over and over, people don't want to listen, we can't read it, we can't say it. Again, I want to say thanks to all of you for giving us the opportunity to be in your homes, on your various gadgets, for listening to us. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to go to my sister Fita while she helped us and close for us on this note.
Well, there nothing else we can say. All we have to say, like for me, Liberian, it is not just Nima County we are hurting. It is not only Nima County, we are doing it too. We are all, people left from Montreal even went to Nima to go vote. Some of my workers went there, and I said, "Did you vote either?" No, and I wasn't either, and I'm ready for a woman to be, my leader. I said, "Okay, that's good for you. Well, you come back here to come work on my house, so I will pay you. I get chicken, I'm coming to get you. Why didn't get you some of the money there? Eh? You see, we don't like good for ourselves. We're the Liberians. We just let them pick and choose. I don't like the other person, and I like that 1 year, so I will go with this one, but you are not benefiting. You just doing it because you feel like you don't like this person. And that is not fair. It is not fair. I beg the Liberian tonight on our platform, please, you share the show, and you please come on every evening as we hear every Friday. And you need to shine your eyes, Liberian. We are going to 2 years, nothing happening in our country. It sounded the people are, they control Liberians. They're holding us by their nose, by our nose, I mean. And like, you follow us. You come on, let's go. You people do what we say. And without fighting back, we let the people do what they're doing. Whatever they say, we follow their rules. And that's going to infect us. Really, really going to infect us. Liberians, wake up. Because
Thank you.
2029 right around the corner.
Thank you.
If you're not made a decision now, then I don't think we can make it in 2029.
Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for adding your voice to the many voices. We think your presence here is really, really worthy, especially representing a very, very major gender on this platform. We really appreciate you. Boniface, you want to close us and then we call this a day?
Yeah, I mean, since we have said it and we don't get tired because this is all we have to do at this time. And I will tell my friends today that the best we can do for our country is not to release talent. No matter what the state, no matter what it is, all we can do is to give information to our people. Friends, in every profession, there are rules and guidelines. You want to be politician, be politicians, but there are rules and regulations. So if somebody, our great and noble party is still believing that we can come back on the now, it's not the point of hand between our legs. The big guys are not even willing to flip out a speaker should. They will not be willing to give you the presidency. A speakership that is not belonging to them, they can hijack it and he willing to give it to you. Then you can imagine what happens to the presidential election. That is all. It's a wake up call. So I want to say to you, friends, thank you for your hard work. And I've said it again, you always get our support. We might not be talking every day, but I know that we are together in spirit and in oneness.
Sure.
And trust me, you are one minute that I respect and believe because you stand for the cause. And some of us do all our ultimate best to stay with that cause.
Thank
And
you.
those who are voting tonight, what we're doing is not for our separate gain. Oh, I could say, hey, America, hey, America, but the target and intention of being there, not because we be in America, but because we want to have a space to be that will be able to give information over to our people. So I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Again, fellow Liberians, thank you so much. On this note, we call it a day and have yourself a God bless day as we take our leave. Bye from our end, and thank you so very kindly. Bye. All right, so we want to say goodbye to you, but before leaving, there is an announcement that I think I need to pass. The CDC-USA has an interim team, and this is the interim team. This particular interim team is going to lead the CDC for the period of 6 months plus as they reach out to every seditions and organize a convention that will include all seditions. So this is an interim team. The interim team is headed by the Honorable Mane George, who is the chair of the interim team, and the vice chair for administration of the interim team is Dr. Elizabeth Gay Kamara. She is the vice chair. We have these people, but they will be coming on. I'll reach out to them, and they will be coming on so that we can have a discussion. But again, this is the team. CDC-USA, they are waking up to some extent. They want to like kind of shake themselves off from the dust and move on. So this is an interim team, and they will be here to explain about what this team is about and what they will be doing. But on this note, I want to say thanks to each and every one of you. Have yourself a God bless day, and bye from our end. Thank you.
We will not allow small children to tell market when they should be in school. They should be in school. We will not allow those young ladies to go in the street whole day yourself. The money you make can't even buy rice. We can't do it. We want to put dignity on our people. And that's why we're here. That's the mission we have. And I can assure you, if you check your calendar, it's exactly 4 months from today. Today is the 10th, right? When is the election? You start checking. 4 months to the date. After 4 months, you will see a new Liberia coming out. You'll see a Liberia that will give you hope. You'll see a Liberia where corruption will be a thing of the past.